Hello guys! Welcome back to my Coffee Talk Myth Debunking series. Actually it's tea, I drink tea most of the time, I should finally get some coffee. In the video today I will speak about the raw vegan 80-10-10 diet that was postulated by Dr. Graham. Dr. Graham is a chiropractor who thinks that people should ideally consume 80% carbs, 10% protein and 10% fat, or even less than 10% protein and fat, in order to achieve optimal health and thrive. So, let's see what the science says. I have dealt with this diet for a pretty long time. 1.5 years ago, my good friend Christine and me, we published an article in Aragon's Research Reviews, which is an amazing science-based magazine for fitness professionals. So if you're into fitness and science, you should definitely subscribe to it. So in this article, we actually described all the dangers of this raw vegan diet. In this video, I would like to start a discussion of the topic by bringing it into context with currently available research literature, as you usually do in all the research reviews. As we are on my YouTube channel, I will bring the Dr. Graham's raw vegan diet into context with a starch solution diet that was postulated by Dr. McDougall and I spoke about last week. I will put the video into the description below. Both diets have lots of similarities. Both of them are vegan. Both of them are high carb. Both of them say protein is toxic. 80-10-10 goes even one step further than the starch solution and writes in the book, in light of the near double safety factor of the US RDA, I have no concerns when I see my clients consuming less protein relative to their size. In his opinion, it is enough to consume 5% of protein if it is high quality, and high quality is actually defined as raw and not cooked. I have already discussed the problems with low protein intake in my starch solution video, but this statement is actually ridiculous because Dr. Graham mentions here double safety factor of the RDA because he decreased protein intake, but actually the RDA recommended daily allowance is a protein intake at which 3% of the population are deficient. So basically 97% of the population aren't protein deficient. So if you lower it even further, then you actually increase the risk of deficiency. It isn't double as safe. Back to the comparison. Both diets hate fat and also say that fat is responsible for all the civilization diseases like heart diseases, diabetes, cancer and so on. I have discussed problems with the statement in the starch solution video and the oil video. I will link both of them down below. Both diets agree that the low carb diet, also known as a keto diet, is absolutely terrible because ketones are toxic. And the 80-10-10 diet goes even one step further and it describes that you shouldn't make any decisions that are important when you are on a keto diet because you can't think properly when you're on a keto diet.
Circulating in the bloodstream, ketones adversely affect our decision-making abilities because they exert an influence upon brain chemistry similar to that of alcohol. Effectively, a heavy ketonic state renders us under the influence. In such state, we should not make decisions important to our life and health, such as those made when driving a car, doing sports, or performing any work that requires precision of body or mind.
Okay, so all people on the keto diet, stop driving cars. As I mentioned before in my previous videos, it is not true. Our body can use ketones for energy productions. Some of the tissues in our bodies actually prefer ketones to glucose. Also our brain, it runs mostly on glucose, but during the keto diet it can also utilize ketones as well. So it is like a myth that our brain can just use glucose. Also, keto diet can be a very good tool in the hands of physicians to heal multiple diseases. Keto diet is not for everyone, but it can be very useful. Back to our comparison. As I already mentioned, both diets are high carb diets. However, while the starch solution puts the focus on starches, Graham says you should eat only or just mostly fruits. Why? Well, because he thinks grains and legumes are awful and toxic and bad and everything else. One of the reasons is because they contain insoluble fiber.
Unfortunately, these health seekers have been misled to believe that the fiber in grains is good for us. This is not true.
Really interesting. I thought fiber is good for us. Let's see what Graham says why actually fiber isn't good.
Before doctors truly understood the function of fiber, it used to be described as a scrub brush for the intestines. The insoluble fiber in grains, raw, sprouted or cooked, however, are extremely harsh on our delicate digestive tracts. Since they do not absorb water, their edges and points remain sharp. These fibers literally scrape the delicate walls of our intestines, irritating and electrocuting them as if we had eaten ground glass.
That's really interesting. Fiber scratches our intestines and behaves as if we would eat glass. I think this guy has lots of fantasy. To be honest, insoluble fiber and fiber from cereals and vegetables was actually associated with positive outcomes for our bodies. It was associated with reduced risk for heart diseases and prostate cancer. Another point why Graham doesn't like grains and legumes, he says that our body didn't have time to adapt to it, to digest all the cooked grains and starches during the evolution, because it took just 10,000 years since our ancestors started eating them. That's really interesting, because Dr. McDougall says exactly the opposite. He says it is written in our DNA that we have to eat starches. And actually a fact that shows that our ancestors adapted to eating cooked grains and starches is that they were able to develop larger brains using the energies that came from these cooked foods. Actually, why is cooking so bad? And why didn't Dr. McDougall realize that cooking is so bad? Now the fun starts. 80-10 book gives the explanation to this.
Raw foods make a lot of common sense, and the science completely supports the raw food concept. Unfortunately, the doctors and scientists who study nutrition for the most part are cooked food eaters, and they see the world through a cooked food perspective. They cannot see beyond their accustomed view to envision other approach.
Ah, okay, now I got it. It's just because Dr. McDougall is a medical doctor and not a chiropractor. He eats cooked food, and that's why he can't see any other perspective, like all the other scientists, including me. But what exactly is wrong with cooking? Here's the answer from the 80-10 book.
Many foods that are cooked, such as meats and grains, would otherwise be unappetizing or inedible in humans. Cooking allows food to bypass sensory safeguards that would normally protect us from ingesting unnatural and unhealthful food substances.
Interesting. As I already mentioned, cooking food greatly contributed to the development of our species.
The repeated consumption of cooked food results in a detrimental enlargement of the pancreas, as well as damage to the liver, heart, thyroid gland, adrenals, and most other organs.
And of course, this statement is not referenced. I don't even know what search terms to put into PubMed to look for papers about it. Also, if it would have been like this, probably all of us would have died out a really long time ago.
A direct cause and effect correlation exists between the cooked food, diet, and America's culture, two main killers, cancer and heart diseases. Many of these relationships have been documented for decades, and the evidence is mounting. Obesity is directly associated with cooking of food, blah blah blah.
Okay, he says that cooking food and all kinds of diseases are correlated. Amazing, but correlation is not causation. Do you know what else is correlated? Just take a few minutes and put into Google funny correlation and Google it. You will see what amazing pages will come up. Now I will give you examples. What else can be correlated? Ice cream salts are correlated with murderers. Living in a poor country increases penis size. Mexican lemon imports prevent highway death. Do you see how many silly correlations here are? The same applies also for the correlation in the 80-10 book, that the cooked food is correlated with all kinds of diseases. It is more likely that eating junk food and not moving enough and having an unhealthy lifestyle is the reason for all the civilization diseases and not cooked food, because cooked food can be actually pretty healthy if you cook the right food. Correlation is not causation.
In the next part, detailed pseudoscientific explanations why cooking is bad. How many kilograms of fruits should I eat in a day not to become deficient on 80-10-10? And what real science says about raw food vegan diets. And as a big bonus, you will get an amazing 80-10-10 meal plan with recipe ideas. So stay tuned and come back to my YouTube channel. And if you like this video, please share it with others, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would really appreciate it if you would hit the subscribe button below and subscribe.